So I got a confession to make. Ever since I was a little kid, and I would hear that we're reading from the Gospel of Luke in church, my little ADHD mind would hear, "Luke, I am your father." And then my brain would go into The Empire Strikes Back. And of course, Luke Skywalker. And then I would hear the gospel reading, and if it were at all possible to make the different characters in the Star Wars movie be the different characters in the gospel, my brain would do that. And it was more entertaining for me that way. And when I hear this lesson, I kind of picture Luke Skywalker. What's the name of the planet that Yoda lives on? Oh, it's not coming to me. Dagobah? In the Dagobah system. It's in the Dagobah solar system. Close. All right, that's close enough. That's all we, anyways, that's beside the point. So I picture Luke in the swamp, and there's Yoda, and Luke wants to have the Force. He wants to have be mighty in the Force. And so, but he has doubts. He doubts himself. And Yoda challenges him to lift his X-Wing fighter, his spaceship, out of the swamp, and Luke uses the Force, and it starts to ease up out of the swampy water, and then it sinks back in, and Luke is dejected, and then Yoda does it, and little itty bitty Yoda, and he lifts it out of the swamp water. Gunk is pouring and dropping off of it, and makes it go through the air and lands it right next to Luke. And Luke fails. And then Yoda admonishes him. So I just, kind of like picture a Luke Skywalker figure, or myself, let's go find a mulberry tree. And really, how does that work? How do you lift a mulberry tree out of the ground and plant it in the sea? It's kind of like the opposite of the X-Wing fighter. Instead of taking it out of the swamp and putting it on the ground, it's rip it out of the ground and throw it in the water. How does that happen? I don't know. Really? Faith of a mustard seed? We're supposed to do that? What, at confirmation, do we go find a mulberry tree farm next to the ocean and we all stand out there? And if we don't do it, Jesus admonishes us? Yeah, when you've been working all day out in the field, your slave, when they come in, do you tell them to sit at the table? No! Put your apron on, serve me. Be grateful to just do what you're told. Is that what's going on here? No, I don't think so. There's something else going on here. So what is going on here? I'm going to explain it like this. Let's start with, and I learned this as I got my good Council Rock education, every newspaper article has certain key pieces of information. Does anybody know this? I bet the English teacher probably knows. No? Who? What? Who, what, when, where, and why? Or how? Who, what, when, where, and how? Who, what? Oh, there is the why. Huh? Who, what, when, where? Okay. Oh, yeah. So, who, what, when, where, and why? I think there's a how in there too. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Okay. Anyways, I need that how in there. So in this statement, or in this thing, if you had faith the size of a mustard seed, you could say to this mulberry tree, Be uprooted and planted in the sea, and it would obey you. Who's the who? Yes. Who, what? What happens? Mulberry tree put into the sea, right? Who, what, when, where? Is this a mulberry tree farm on the Jersey coast? California coast? We don't know where. Who, what, when, where, how? Do we know how? We don't know how. When? What's that? Immediately? Yeah, I guess, yeah. Uprooted and planted in the sea, and it would obey you. It could be immediately. It could be a couple moments later. Maybe it has to kind of shimmy out of the ground first for maybe 5 minutes. Loosen up the roots. Maybe it takes an hour. I don't know. I'm going to say when, it's unclear. We don't know. Who, what, when, where, how, why. Why a mulberry tree in the sea? Why did Jesus pick that? Why not something a little more useful? That poor tree, that poor innocent tree. You know it's going to die out there without dirt. That's not where mulberry trees belong. Why? It doesn't make any sense to me. Increase our faith. The apostles said to the Lord, increase our faith. Why do they say that? I'll tell you, in my experience, sitting at people's bedsides, standing with people in a funeral home, people in my office, on the phone, after a worship service. I've heard this request, increase my faith.
Okay,
It worked.
Good.
Give
Thank
me
you.
faith. I don't know how. Give me faith. I don't know why. Why did this happen? Oh God, increase my faith. Why did I get this diagnosis? When? When will this happen? How long do I have? Give me faith. Increase my faith. Where? I thought if I went here, I'd find the solution. Where do I go now? Where does this road go? Increase my faith. When? Where? How will this work out? Why did this happen? What's the purpose? Increase my faith. What's going to happen to me? Increase my faith. There's only one promise that we have in the Christian faith. It's the what? What's going to happen? resurrection. Even that who part in be uprooted and planted in the sea. If you had faith the size of a mustard seed, you could say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted in the sea. Is anyone born with that kind of a power? That it's just in them? I mean, yeah, Jesus says if you had the faith of a mustard seed, and if you said, is it really by the disciples' power should that have had? No, it's God's power. Even there, who is a bit cloudy. We do God's work, but it's not God doing it through us. Really, it's God is the who. The only thing in the who, what, when, where, how, why, that we have an answer that we know, that we can have faith in, it's the what? The resurrection. We don't know by whom the resurrection will happen around us other than beyond Jesus. We don't know the why, the how, the when, the where. We don't know. Those things aren't guaranteed to us. And when we ask, increase our faith, we're usually looking for those other things. But we're not privy to them. It's like the slave in the household. The only certainty the slave has is that they are a member of the household. That as a member of the household, they're fed. As a member of the household, they're looked after. As a member of the household, you're protected by that household. But the who, when, where, how, why of what you do day to day changes, and you don't have power over those things. Only the Master does. God knows all of it, the who, what, when, where, how, why, how, all of it. Why? God knows, not us. We're not privy to that. The only thing we're given is a itty-bitty one thing. A promise of what? Which is resurrection. Faith, the size of a mustard seed, in the resurrection. And honestly, on one level, having just that itty-bitty thing, mustard seed, at times can kind of suck. It'd be nice to know all those other things. But if you look at it another way, that mustard seed is all powerful with God's power. It's actually a good thing that we don't know all those other things. Here's the good news. God is not limited by our limited brains. God is not limited by our limited knowledge. God is not limited by our limited imagination. If God told us all of it, who, what, when, where, why, how, and we could understand it, God have to dumb God's miracles down to what we can comprehend. And I'm going to tell you, the moments in my life when all I had was the what, that promise of the resurrection, and I couldn't imagine any of the rest of it as to when this is going to work out, how this is going to work out, where this is going to work out, why it's going to work out, that it was beyond me as to what those could possibly be. It was at those times that I needed a God who exceeded my imagination, my intelligence, my wisdom more than anything. that I needed to be the slave and let God be the master. So, let your faith be as small as that mustard seed. And let God be God. Amen.